So right here we have two perfect examples of original American traditional tattoos, originally designed by Sailor Jerry. On the right side we have a chicken, on the left we have a pig. The reason that old sailors used to decide to get chickens and pigs is because if they had a shipwreck and their ship would go underwater and everything, the crates that the chickens and pigs were in would normally float and wash ashore, so the sailors would cling onto the crates and hoped that their lives would be saved by clinging onto the chicken and pigs crates and pens and things like that. There's a couple other story or myths is that if you kept chickens and pigs close by as a sailor, that you would always be fed, you'd always have food to eat, and you would never starve to death. Hi, this is Miles from Living Dead Tattoo. I am the apprentice at Living Dead Tattoo. Right now I'm just going to share with you the history behind a few old traditional sailor American tattoos. Right here we have a traditional American Sailor Jerry sparrow. The reason that old sailors would get sparrows on them was because while they were sailing or on long distance trips, if they ever saw sparrows in the air, they knew that they were going to be close to land and they didn't have too much longer until they arrived safely to their destination. Hi, I'm Miles Medina at Living Dead Tattoo. I am currently the apprentice here at Living Dead Tattoo. The way I kind of got into tattoos and tattooing was most of my life, a lot of my older cousins and family all had full body suits of tattoos and covered from head to toe, head to toe in tattoos. And I always grew up just loving them, thinking they were beautiful pieces of art on their skin. And as I grew up and got older, a lot of my friends had already graduated and started tattooing and apprenticing as well. So I started hanging around tattoo shops when I was about 16. And I started hanging around Living Dead a lot because I had a few friends that worked here, and the more I was around it, the more I hung out with these guys, the more I got to know them, the more I fell in love with the art, the more I fell in love with everything to do with tattooing, the beauty behind it, especially Living Dead because it is a full custom shop. A lot of places you go here in town, they slap tattoos on you, they slap just normal whatever things that aren't unique, aren't custom to you, don't show who you are in particular. And here you just kind of become a well-rounded artist, from American traditional to full realism portraits of family members to animals to whatever you can think of. And once I turned 19, I went to Bean one day and I just kind of asked if I could start apprenticing here at Living Dead Tattoo, and one thing led to another and I ended up here, and it's been a phenomenal experience. Everybody here has 100% become my family. A lot of people here I trust with my life more than I would my real family. These guys, it's a lifestyle, definitely. It's a whole way of being, and they teach you everything about art and about yourself. They definitely help you grow up a lot. They definitely helped me grow up a lot in particular. And it's a beautiful thing here at Living Dead Tattoo. You'll never get a tattoo like you will here at Living Dead. My apprenticeship has been great. There's been ups and downs. They've taught me all the small details. There's a lot of things they'll make you do, such as tracing over and over and over again, the same sheet over and over and over again, just so that they know that your line work and your tracing is 100%. And then they'll put a machine in your hand on top of your pencil so that when you're tracing you get used to the weight on your hand. And then after that they start teaching you color theory, from the color wheel to learning realism to knowing where to shade, where not to shade, knowing how to put highlights into things. It's just, like I said before, just a well-rounded shop, and they teach you everything you need to know, and they will not sign anybody off unless they're 100% sure that they are going to be a great tattooer.
Hi, I'm Cassie from Living Dead Tattoo in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I've been at this shop for about 4 years now. When I started, I've actually been an artist pretty much my entire life. I say that because I've always drawn, even when I was very little, and it just never stopped. I was always that kid in school that was doodling and not taking notes, not paying attention. I was always drawing. And I actually, when I graduated high school, I started my college career. I wanted to be a veterinarian because I assumed, oh, there's no career field in art, I'm not going to make money. And so I actually went to Colorado for my freshman year of school, and I absolutely hated it. It really wasn't for me. It was such a cutthroat time in my life. I just didn't really feel comfortable there. So I ended up coming back home to Las Vegas and transferred to UNLV, where I studied art for 6 years with a concentration in painting and illustration. I was on break from school, and I really wasn't doing a whole lot. I was kind of bummed out, kind of depressed. I wasn't doing art in my free time. I was just working a really kind of crappy retail job. And when I became friends with Mike's sister, and she was the one that actually connected me to the shop. She brought me down here. She told me to bring my portfolio, wherein I met all of the guys and I showed them my work, and they seemed to be pretty impressed. And a week later, they offered me an apprenticeship. So I apprenticed for 2 years with everybody here. Learned a little bit from all of the artists, even artists who came on board and have now left. I just tried to gain as much information from each one as I could. And it took me about 2 years to learn how to tattoo. And after the 2 years were up, the boys here offered me a position where I got my own station, and I started establishing my clientele. The thing about tattooing is it's unlike any medium there is. It's unlike any medium I've learned. In art school, I've learned photography, ceramics, digital design, lithography, painting, drawing, pretty much any kind of facet of drawing, markers, colored pencils, charcoal, the works, and there's nothing like tattooing. It is such a different medium, and it's so technical. There are things that change from person to person, even places on the body that change how you apply the tattoo, how you do it. It's part art, part surgery, and that's something I love about it. It's something new every day. I've always been attracted to the idea of tattooing, even when I was much younger. I remember in high school, friends would ask me to draw them something, and they would go and get it tattooed. And the novelty of that idea just made me so excited. The fact that somebody was coming to me and wanted my drawing permanently placed on their body, I absolutely fell in love with that idea. And so it was always in the back of my mind to possibly pursue it, but I had absolutely no idea how to do so. I had no idea what the first step was. I knew that there were apprenticeships, but I didn't know how people got an apprenticeship. Like, do you just walk into a shop and just say, hey, I want to do this? Which turns out a lot of people do, and a lot of people succeed that way. But I was lucky enough to have a connection to this shop where I've learned all of these different styles, all of these different mediums of tattooing from all of the different artists here. Me personally, as an artist, I do like to bring my fine art background into the tattoos that I do. I like to do a lot of tattoos that look like they're paintings. Since I was an oil painter first and then a tattooer second, I like to bring that background into what I do. I also like to do more illustrative tattoos, something that's on the border of photoreal and something that looks like a drawing. So that would be including lines with more realistic shading, a style that a lot of people call neo-traditional, which takes elements from the classic American tradition tattoos but puts a more realistic spin onto them. I love to do realistic black and gray. That was one thing in art school that I loved, was charcoal drawings, and I feel like it translates very well doing photoreal black and gray tattoos compared to the old charcoal drawings I used to do in art school. Those are what make me the happiest. But basically, I've been trying to get just dabble in a bunch of different styles to really find my niche, because I'm still fairly young as far as my career goes in the tattoo industry. So there is rarely a tattoo that I'll turn down, because I want that experience. I want to see if I enjoy something new. My absolute favorite, though, is basically when people come to me with an idea and they let me do whatever I want. They just give me the basics and they say, go wild. And I feel that's one thing that really enables somebody to get a very successful tattoo, a beautiful tattoo, is when they kind of relinquish control to us as artists.